All right, welcome to part 3 of my imposter syndrome series. We've looked at how to spot imposter syndrome showing up in your life. I've taken you through what the main features are that keep you hooked in and stuck in this cycle of believing you're imposter instead of building your confidence and self-belief instead. And in this final part 3, we're going to look at ways that you can start to do it differently. Ways that you can build up your confidence, broaden your definition of what counts as a success, challenge your imposter lens, and replace that imposter model of thinking for a better one that works better for you. Now, this is an overview. If you want more detail, go to my website, clareflaxen.com, and you'll find masterclasses, my membership, and one-to-one offers of ways that you can really get stuck in and change your imposter model of thinking and stop feeling and thinking like an imposter and start doing it differently. All right, are you ready? So we've looked at your competence types, and if you've watched part 2, you will have already identified which ones are showing up for you. I want you to start challenging that when you see it cropping up in your life. I want you to start spotting when you're falling into that narrow definition of what counts as an achievement or a success. And I want you to play around with broadening it out. So if you're the perfectionist, you'll start looking at maybe evidence that people can make mistakes and it doesn't mean it's a failure. You can be less than perfect and still be competent and good at what you do. You're going to challenge that message you were given when you were younger of you got 98% on a test, or why didn't you get 100? What went wrong? And you're going to flip it and start focusing on the positives, on the good points, and allow yourself to see that being a high achiever is not the same as being a perfectionist. You can be a high achiever, you can have really valid successes and achievements, and they don't have to be perfect. If you're the soloist, I want you to play around with doing things with other people, with being part of a team, with asking for help, and challenging yourself when you automatically go into that belief that it therefore doesn't count. If you're the expert, I want you to start seeing and showing yourself, well, what happens if you get going when you're competent but maybe not the expert? Can you start? Are you allowed to develop and grow? Do you really need to do that next training? Get that next qualification? Some things you might, some things you need the training and qualifications, but with the expert, you're always going that step further and it's never enough. There's always one more thing you should be doing, because what you're searching for is a sense of being enough, of being valid. Okay, I'm there. This is enough. And because you're in that expert mentality, it's never enough. So you never reach the feeling you're searching for. So you keep yourself stuck. Instead, start doing it differently. And instead of waiting to feel like you're enough, start showing yourself that you can be valid. You're not an imposter if you're not the ultimate expert in everything you do. You're still valid. Look around for examples of these things in other people that you admire and respect. Get yourself the proof that the belief system you're operating from, whether that's the perfectionist, the soloist, the expert, the natural genius, or the superman or superwoman, that they're not necessarily accurate or factual. How rigid they are is something that you've learned growing up. It's not actually a truth out there in the world. So start separating out your thoughts and your beliefs from actual reality. Challenge them, question them, query them. Take the bits that you think, okay, maybe that is valid. I want to be a cognitive behavioural therapist. I probably need to go and get some training, which I have done. I can't just pitch up and call myself that. But I don't need to be necessarily at having done every training out there, have gone up as far as I can go in order to be valid and competent at what I do and have achievements within that. So notice when you're being too narrow, too rigid, and broaden it out. Look for examples in the world around you with other people that show you that maybe there's a different way of doing things. And likewise, I want you to notice when you are distorting and dismissing and discrediting your wins and achievements. Notice all the ways that you bat it away and say, oh, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's not good enough. It wasn't perfect. Look at all the ways that you are reinforcing This understanding that unless things fall within your very narrow definition of success, they don't count. You'll notice that in the language. Notice the yes buts. Notice when you bat things away with a yeah, but anyone could have done that. Or yeah, but they were just being kind. Or yes, but I made tons of mistakes and I don't know why nobody noticed. These are all the ways that you're discrediting your achievements. Stop doing it. And finally, I want you to start playing around with a different model of thinking, one that allows you to go more into a growth mindset. So instead of taking that feeling of worry or anxiety or doubts about whether you know how to do something, instead of taking that discomfort as a signal, as confirmation that you're really an imposter, I want you to start playing around with the idea that maybe, just maybe, this is how everybody feels when they're doing something new. This is how everybody feels when they do something that's out of their comfort zone. You're no different. I want you to normalize this. I want you to go and talk to other people about how they experience those feelings of discomfort. What interpretations do they place on it? Do they see themselves as an imposter or a fraud if they feel uncomfortable or uncertain? Or do they see it as part of the process? If you want to grow, if you want to develop, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And then let yourself make mistakes. Let yourself learn. Let yourself not be the expert and know absolutely everything. Let yourself get some help and still look for the achievements within that. Still look for the things that count as an accomplishment. The accomplishment might be, I did that really well. Yes, there are a few bits I can improve on, but I did that really well. Or the accomplishment, the achievement could simply be, I showed up and I tried. Next time, I'll do it better, I'll improve. But this doesn't make me a fraud, this just makes me human. Because when you do that, when you can take the learning, when you can see the accomplishments and achievements and let them land, you then build a core of self-esteem and self-belief and confidence that grows each time you do things. Instead of keeping yourself stuck in a spiral of feeling and thinking like an imposter. So if you want to stop believing that you're an imposter, you need to stop thinking and feeling like one. You need to challenge them when they come up. And you need to start doing things differently. Test it out. Test out doing a different response to when you're scared you're going to be exposed as an imposter. Put a limit on the amount of work you'll do on something. Challenge yourself to decide to reach out and ask for some help and see what happens. Do it differently and see the benefits, and allow yourself bit by bit to rebuild and rewrite your beliefs about what it means to achieve things. Because you're not an imposter, you just think that you are. If you've liked this, come and subscribe to my channel and check out my website clareflaxen.com, where you can find more tools and tips and mindset support to get you from stuck to unstoppable in your life.